We use Paycom's modules for payroll, for all of our human capital functions, and our talent acquisition functions. I would say the one thing that works really well at our organization is the checklist function. So Paycom's checklists make things, processes that go through email typically flow through one specific area. And so that's something that we use heavily for a lot of our processes. And I absolutely love that. Was not in any of our other previous HCMs that we use. So I love that feature. And then I really haven't been able to like dip my toes into it fully yet, but the learning management section is pretty robust. And I just got moved into a role where I'll be using them more heavily. And so I've been taking the classes, and I've learned that Paycom has a wonderful webinar schedule and all the different options that they have to take courses so that you can learn the product. So it's kind of cool because I'm learning the product in order to develop learning products. So I really love that they're conducive to both. I would say the reporting, that's something that really for every organization is very unique what we need for reporting. And recently we worked with a Paycom specialist who is actually working with development teams in Paycom to make reports that were useful for us. So that was really cool. I feel like if Paycom could create a role where it was an liaison between their clients and maybe developing teams to help create better reports, that would be super insightful. I know they just launched like all their new dashboards and things like that. So I haven't had a chance to like feel that out yet. But like better reporting is always going to be effective in the organization. I would say probably a 7. I would say it's well suited for the mid-sized organization like us. I've only worked at a smaller organization that I'm at now, so I don't have the breadth of experience to really say too much. But as far as like where we're at in our life cycle, this it's a really great platform for that group versus like a very large organization, like even larger than Paycom, where you can't get a hold of personalized recs and chat with people. So yeah, that. And then the other part of your question where it's not useful, I don't know, honestly. There's something that's like lacking in it internally where I think that someone couldn't use it as a human capital management product. I've used Paylocity at my last organization, and then it was more of an ATS, but Fullhorn was the ATS that we used before. For positive impact, I would say it's allowed me to learn like a breadth of new technologies. I think Paycom is keeping up with what's going on right now. And so being able to, with all the rollouts they just did and being able to get accustomed to that helps me in my career so that I'm able to, if I move into a different organization that doesn't use Paycom, to translate those experiences over. Usability, I would say in the old platform, probably about a 6, but, like, with all these new dashboards, I feel like that's gonna increase, so it's really hard to say with all that changing. I think Paycom, another area of improvement is really that connectivity with other specialties and carriers that we use, so, like, a lot of carriers don't work with Paycom or just have a hard time integrating with Paycom, so if the aim is to be, like, that one-stop shop, I think it's just difficult because every single industry has needs that might not fit within that umbrella, so maybe just working on the partnership aspect of it, I think would be growth opportunity maybe for Paycom. So I think the biggest one that we don't use, and this is maybe the space I'm in, is the Betty automation. So I'm not familiar with that. We never implemented that, but I hear about it all the time. So I'm probably not the best person to speak on that because most of what we're doing with Paycom isn't in that automated realm. Yeah. Really haven't touched it too much yet. I mean, I've used it here and there just to ask for like very simple questions, but so far, a lot of like the questions I feel like I'd ask it, it would I need more information. So I typically will go back to the same places I always have, which are where all of it's located in the employee profile. So haven't quite used it a ton yet, but I also think that there's an opportunity to use it, and it's maybe just education, taking webinars that Paycom offers. So I'm not sure if they offer on IWant yet, but I'll be on the lookout for that. I do not know the price, to be honest, in my role. So I'll say yeah, but I don't know. Yeah. Not always. We had a really rough experience with benefits enrollments that translated into us getting better service, but it was marketed to us with like full service and then didn't get half the services that were under that marketing. And so really made open enrollment a struggle for us. And then eventually, as a result of like advocating for ourselves, we got given somebody who was very knowledgeable and they rectified it. It was actually better than it was before. So that was great. But I think leading up to it, the stress to get us to that point was frustrating on the marketing aspect of what they were saying they would do. I wasn't part of that. Yeah. We use CostPoint as our time management system. That's mostly because it's like government regulated. We use all sorts of different carrier websites that some integrate, some don't, like iSolved, Principal 401k, quite a few others, which some do integrate and some don't integrate them.